Donald Trump's Board of Peace was originally conceived to play a role in the redevelopment and governance of Gaza. And today, at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, the United States pitched its vision of the Palestinian territory's future. The US President's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, presented what was described as a master plan for a new Gaza and outlined proposals for rapid reconstruction and economic development, including data centres and industrial parks. Mr. Kushner was upbeat about Gaza's prospects, claiming that the devastated territory could be rebuilt within a few years once Hamas is demilitarised. And he insisted that Gaza's population is receiving sufficient quantities of aid.
People ask us what our plan B is. We do not have a plan B. We have a plan. We signed an agreement. We are all committed to making that agreement work. There's a master plan. We'll be doing it in phasing. In the Middle East, they build cities like this in 2-3 million people. They build this in 3 years. And so stuff like this is very doable if we make it happen. Rafa will start with. This will show a lot of workforce housing. We think this could be done in 2-3 years. We've already started removing the rubble and doing some of the demolition. And then New Gaza. It could be a hope, it could be a destination, have a lot of industry, and really be a place that the people there can thrive, have great employment.
Well, let's take a more considered look at this master plan with UN Under-Secretary General Jorge Moreira de Silva. He's also Executive Director of UNOPS, the United Nations agency that supports essential services in Gaza, like fuel supplies, aid delivery, and work to reduce the risks from unexploded ordnance. He was in Gaza last week. Welcome to DW, Under-Secretary. Do you share Jared Kushner's optimism that a city for 2 or 3 million people can be built from the rubble that Israel has left in Gaza in 2 or 3 years?
Thank you for having me here again. I've been discussing a lot with Deutsche Welle in the last 3 years, and indeed, I went again to Gaza for the third time. And it's fundamental to bring hope and to have a long-term development in Gaza. Indeed, we are all expecting that in the context of the reconstruction, we will address the needs that are estimated into $50 billion. But it's also important that we don't wait until the big plans being framed, discussed and financed to do whatever we can on the short and on the immediate term. So reacting to your question, I would say that while we are all expecting these discussions about the big plans, the reconstruction, I think it's very important, particularly based on what I saw in Gaza, that we don't lose 1 minute in doing something more concrete, such as bringing all the fuel that is needed for the bakeries, for the hospitals, for the desalination, for the sewage, for everything to work. Repairing the power plant in Gaza, which has been stopped in the last 3 years, rehabilitating the networks, electricity, telecommunications, water, sewage and sanitation, also ensuring that we provide all the shelters needed, removing the rubble, demining, dealing with unexploded ordnance. These are the concrete things that don't require the billions, require millions and political will. I was quite shocked with what I saw. It's true that I witnessed in previous visits massive destruction, but this time what I saw was basically rubble and tents.
Okay.
Everything is on the ground.
And so in a place with such a devastated infrastructure, how does daily life continue? Can you give us an idea of what daily life is like for people in Gaza at the moment?
I saw much more hope now than last time when I visited 6 months ago. I could see on people's eyes and in my conversations that there is much more expectations about the future. I could see clearly hope. I could also see for the first time food in the markets, but food is just one element. If you have food but you don't have shelter, if you have to look into places to protect yourself from the heavy rains, going to buildings that are collapsing, if you have your kids on the streets being out of school for 3 years, if you don't have basic access to health and to the protection you need from the 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 difficult weather, uh, you are not providing the basic human needs, and I would say even more, you are not providing the basic human rights. And that's why I know that in Davos and in other places we are having these discussions about the billions, the big plans. I would like, and I'm sorry for insisting on that, I would like to bring us to the here and the now. What the people in Gaza told me precisely when I was visiting and checking the reality of these tents, these improper, unsafe tents, what they were saying is, okay, we need reconstruction, but can you bring tomorrow more fuel? Can
Right.
you bring shelters? Can you bring electricity? Can you put the power station functioning? This is the kind of practical things that don't need to wait for 3 years, 1 year. In a few months, we could get it done.
Except that, in order for people to live and have some hope for the future, surely the two things have to work simultaneously. We have to deal with immediate needs while looking ahead to the future. And I'd like to bring you back, having outlined for us what is needed in Gaza immediately, kind of bring you back to my original question about this master plan that Jared Kushner has now shared with the world, and his optimism that this 80% destroyed region can be rebuilt. A city for 2 or 3 million, he says, can be rebuilt from the rubble in 2 or 3 years. Do you see that as practicable?
Well, I haven't listened to that presentation. I can only speak from what I saw on the ground, which is the kind of destruction that I've witnessed would require the kind of skills and political will that has no parallel. Because the 60 million tons of rubble in normal conditions would require 7 to 10 years to be removed. We can't wait 7 to 10 years, which means that the kind of operation that is needed, it's not the traditional operation. But I think it's also important that when it comes to early recovery, but also for the reconstruction, that we don't only focus on the plans are important, on the financing. There are some elements of political will that are crucial, such as let's open all crossings in Gaza. Only 3 out of the 9 are open. Let's put all the corridors functioning, namely the Jordan corridor, bringing aid directly from Jordan to Gaza without multiple controls and transloading. Let's remove the restrictions on the import of or on the entrance of materials. Let me give you an example. How can we talk about rubble removal if heavy machinery is forbidden? How can we repair the power station in Gaza if the spare parts are forbidden? How can we bring solarization in Gaza to provide access to electricity if solar panels are forbidden? So these are the kind of practical things that require not only finance and capacity, requires political will, namely from Israel.
OK, so 7 to 10 years to just move the rubble makes 2 to 3 years to build a whole city seem overly optimistic. I'd like your thoughts on what Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, had to say about Gaza's food situation. We'll play the clip and then come back to you.
People are talking about famine. 100% of the food needs are met, and that's been overabundance. The cost of goods have gone down tremendously. Over 55,000 trucks have gone in, and over 1.4 million pallets. And it's been the largest humanitarian effort done into a war zone.
So, Undersecretary General, when Jared Kushner says Gaza has seen overabundance, what do you say?
No, I've not seen overabundance. I've seen starvation and food insecurity for 3 years. Now, for the first time, as you know, it was reported that with the massive support of the UN bringing the food during the ceasefire, we are no longer talking about starvation, about famine, but we are still dealing with food insecurity. It's not my own opinion, it's the reports that say that while famine is no longer the reference, we still have most of the population under food insecurity, because if your provision of food is dependent on humanitarian aid by trucks that are not being provisioned or provided in a stable and predictable manner, you are depending on the next truck, the truck that will come next day. So obviously, this is not something that is sustained and sustainable in the long term. I think that it's important to acknowledge progress, There is more food in Gaza, I could see it, but basic human needs are not being provided because human needs are not only food, it's education, it's health, it's water, it's sanitation, it's electricity, is protection from the risk of buildings being buildings collapsing, unexploded ordnance to kill the kids
Okay.
that are playing on the rubble. So
I mean,
this is,
these are points that you have made, and we thank you for them. Time is short. A big worry, I guess, for people like yourself who are involved in Gaza and must deal with the day-to-day realities. A big worry must be that the world's attention has now drifted away now that the daily aerial poundings seem to have stopped. Is that something that you see, that the world's attention has now drifted?
yeah, it's true. The same happened with Sudan. The same happened with Somalia. The same happened with Myanmar. The same happened with Haiti. The same happened with the Sahel. That's why it's important that we don't confuse the suffering with the people just with the bombing. There are lasting consequences of the strikes, the bombing, the humanitarian crisis. In Gaza, to get fuel, what people are doing, they are burning waste. They are burning plastic to get the liquid that leaks from that burning to mix with cooking oil to have some sort of dirty fuel to get some heat for survive to the temperatures, to cook and to put it on the car. So this is not sustainable, healthy, or decent. So that basic. I insist on the point of dignity. Food is just one element. We need much more than food, and that's why the point that you made, which is about if there are no longer strikes or much less than before, is this a reason to turn our eyes? No, we have to keep supporting people in Gaza, but also, of course, in Sudan, in Somalia, in Ukraine,
Right.
in Myanmar. So we have more crises than before, and we cannot choose only the one that just came last.
Thank you so much for joining us, Undersecretary, UN Undersecretary General Jorge Moreira da Silva. Thank you.
Thank you.